Okay, we're going to cover the show me, tell me questions on a 2016 Ford Fiesta 1 litre EcoBoost petrol. To open the bonnet, we use the lever located in the driver's side footwell on the Ford Fiesta. On some vehicles, it's in the passenger side footwell, so all you would do is just pull the lever gently and that will unlock the bonnet latch. To lift the bonnet up, all you do is you slide this latch to the left, and at the same time using your left hand you would lift the bonnet up. Once the bonnet's lifted up, you would just use the metal bar just to support it, locking it in here. Okay, that's the washer fluid reservoir. That's where you would put your washer fluid in for the wipers, and this is where you would put the oil for the engine. To check the oil level, we use the dipstick. What you do with it is you lift the dipstick out, you clean the dipstick, you put the dipstick back into its holder and you pull the dipstick out again, and that will show you the gauge on the bottom, the minimum and maximum, and that's where the oil should be, between the minimum and maximum, and that's called a dipstick. This is the engine coolant and antifreeze reservoir, and this is where you would put the coolant in or the antifreeze to either stop the engine from overheating or freezing in the winter. So it's overheating in the summer and freezing in the winter. You have got markers here, you've got minimum and maximum, and your coolant or antifreeze should be between those two levels. This is your brake fluid reservoir, and your brake fluids are a hydraulic system. So when you do apply the brakes, it's a hydraulic system, and this is where you put your brake fluid in. Again, you do have markers on the side, minimum and maximum. To check your indicators are working, all you would do is press the red hazard light button, and you can walk out and check the 6 bulbs are working. 2 at the front, 2 at the side, and 2 at the back. All your indicator bulbs should be working. To switch on your dipped lights, all you would do is turn the knob in the middle to your dipped setting, like so. So you would go 1 and 2. That's your dipped lights. Those are the lights that we use at night time. When you put the dipped lights on, your tail lights also illuminate, so your car is illuminated all around, front and back, during the night time. So those are your dipped lights. To switch on your fog lights when visibility is reduced to 100 meters or less, you first have to put your dipped lights on. So 1, 2, back to dipped, and then what you do is you use the buttons on the left and right. That is your front fog light, and that's the rear fog light. They will also be displayed on the dash. So that green symbol is your front fog light, and the amber symbol is your rear fog light. To switch off the fog lights, you can just turn the dial back to off. That switches off your lights and your fog lights. Just so you know, the fog lights will not work on their own. They will only work with either the side lights or with the dip lights. So you first have to activate the dip lights, and then you can put the fog lights on. To switch between dipped and main beam, you first put your dipped lights on, so 1, 2, and then using your indicator stalk, which is on the left, you would pull that towards you. So all you do is you pull towards you, and if you look at the blue symbol that's illuminated in the dash just there, that is your beam light on. So that's dipped to main beam. And to switch the main beam off, you can just pull the indicator stalk towards you one more time. How do you know the beam is on? You can also see a reflection outside. To clean the front windscreen using the washer fluid, we use the wiper stalk, which is located on the right hand side of the steering wheel, and all you do is press this button in for 3 seconds and hold, and that should give an even spray of washer fluid onto your windscreen and also clean it at the same time. So 1, 2, 3. And to clean the rear windscreen using the washer fluid, you use the same wiper stalk, and all you do is you pull it towards you. So I'm going to pull and hold 1, 2, 3, and that gives an even spray of washer fluid onto the rear windscreen, and at the same time activates your wipers. To switch it off, you can just push it back to its default position. To check your horn is working, all you have to do is press the middle of the steering wheel. Whenever doing so, make sure there's no cyclists nearby, as you don't want to startle fellow road users. So all you do is just press it. There we go. To check your brake lights are working, all you would do is make sure the ignition is on. The car does not have to be started, and all you would do is press the brake pedal, and you should be able to see a reflection in any vehicles behind you or shop windows. Or if it's during the daytime, you get someone to stand outside, and as you press the brake pedal a few times, your 3 brake lights should illuminate. You got 2, one on either side, left and right, and one in the middle of the vehicle. And that's your warning indicator for fellow road users that you are slowing down or stopping. To check the brakes are not faulty, the brake pedal should not feel slack or spongy. So as I press this pedal down, there should be an element of resistance. If this pedal goes down all the way, a bit like a big giant sponge with water in it, and it squishes all the way down to the ground, then it's faulty. So the brake pedal should have some resistance. It should not feel slack or spongy, and that's the brake pedal. So the brakes are not faulty. To check the ABS is not faulty, your ABS sign should disappear once you switch the engine on. If on startup your ABS sign is still illuminated, then there is a fault with your anti-lock braking system. To switch on your front demister, you would press the button with the yellow symbol, the amber symbol on it. So you'd press that, that's your front demister. That'll blow air to the front of the windscreen and it will demist your windows. To switch it off, you can just press the off button. Now when you do switch on the front demister, the rear also switches on at the same time as default. If you want to switch on your rear demister on its own, you can just press the rear, and that will switch on the rear demister, and it's a separate system to the front. It's electric wires that run through the windscreen, and they will heat up to clear the windscreen at the back. The legal tyre tread depth limit in the UK is 1.6 millimeters of tread depth across the 3/4 of the tyre and the circumference. Now basically what we can do, we also have something called a TWI, which is a tyre warning indicator. If your tread is level with these markers here, then basically what it means is it's time to change your tyre. You could also do something called the 20p test. So what we basically do is with a 20p coin, you slot the 20 pence into these grooves, and at the same time you should not be able to see the border of the 20p coin, so it should nicely slot in to the grooves and the border should not be visible. That gives you an indication, and also there should be no cuts or bulges around the circumference of the tyre.